Me, man. Just my opinion. Don't hate. Don't hate, please. I get enough of that.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable, he
Unbelievable.
says.
Well, I mean...
After tricking people into buying Hellblade 2.
Yeah, after tricking people into downloading Hellblade 2, apparently.
Yeah, but it is your kind of game, though.
Sauce Made Dragon, you know, he's hurt. He said it was so boring that it physically hurt him. I don't know. It's like, if you like the first game, I think you'd like the second game. I just don't understand, you know? But...
Yeah, I didn't like the
maybe
first
I'm
game.
wrong. I know you don't like anything. If it's not Overwatch, Jez don't like it, or World of Warcraft.
I like Elden Ring.
Yeah.
I like games that you can actually just play.
Struts retract.
And all you do is run away. You don't have a gun. You don't like. I hate that too. Just let me kill shit, man. That's all I want out of game is let me kill shit. Monsters,
Stay
zombies,
in orbit or jump. Your call.
Unbelievable. Zombie Jacket with the 2 says Frank West is back, baby. Indeed he is. Cool dude, super noob with the 2. Jez, how's the weather? If footy's being suspended.
The footy's been suspended.
That's
the weather.
That's what he says.
The weather's awful. It's 90 Fahrenheit here, and I'm dying. But we're supposed to get rain, and the heat's supposed to break. Alexa, will it rain? It might rain tonight. 10 p.m. it's supposed to rain, so 10 minutes.
1.
Yeah, so 10 minutes supposed to rain.
And then the ants was back.
The ants are gone now, actually.
Are they?
They're gone.
Nice one.
Where'd they go?
Welcome to
I
Restart
fucking
Station.
vacuumed them all. Little
We're
bastard.
gonna do a quick scan for
I
contraband.
vacuumed literally all of them. They're all dead. I'm an ant murderer, dude.
You better get rid of the bag. You better get rid of the evidence.
If only Dr. Disrespect had gotten rid of the evidence. Eh?
Oh!
On your way.
And you came at me. You didn't like my Hawk 2 girl. Now you're bringing up Dr. Diddler.
Dr. Diddlespect. Oh man, that was the big drama of the week as well. Like Elden Ring was a big one, but I suppose like in streamer universe this week will go down in infamy. I suppose, well, are we streamers, right? Are we
I mean, technically we are podcasters. I guess we're podcasters, but we are streaming, so
yeah. I suppose we kind of streamer adjacent, you say. Yeah, that was the biggest drama in streaming I've ever seen. I remember when Ninja joined Mixer. Like that was like pretty big. Like I think that's one of my highest traffic articles of all time was Ninja joining Mixer. But this whole Dr. Disrespect thing is just I suppose it's a bit different, right? Because it's I think Ninja joining Mixer is like it's just like whatever. But this is just like whoa. You know, this could change the way that brands interact with streamers and personalities and stuff like that. Because I think Dr. Disrespect has long been seen as not brand safe. But this is just on another level, man.
got fired from his game company and got dropped by a bunch of sponsors.
You demonetized on YouTube. Like,
Monetized on YouTube.
I said on Twitter, I said something like he's gonna lose everything, and people were like, no, he won't. No, he won't. I was like, I just know how these companies operate. You know, YouTube dropped him like a brick. You know, and he didn't have like a formal partnership with YouTube. It was just sort of like how we are. We're monetized on YouTube. We don't have a direct relationship with YouTube. Like when you're a big celebrity, usually you have a direct relationship with YouTube. But he didn't. Because it's not brand safe. So,
Want to see how short my temper is?
I don't know. Crazy times.
Crazy times. Just make sure you be careful about who you're whispering.
Yeah.
Make sure you ask for their
Welcome
age.
to the
I guess.
Ranger
but,
compound.
But apparently,
Do you have...
allegedly, he knew her age and
Wait.
didn't care. So.
Is that Sam Coe?
That's
You have a
what they
lot of
say.
nerve. Here to yell at Lillian personally?
A lot of people were
Maybe
walking
change
back.
things up a little?
Suddenly, age
Listen,
of consent became one of the
this
most
ain't about
important
me.
topics out there.
It's about the kid.
And people were defending him, and then
I
suddenly,
didn't see you,
slowly
Princess.
but surely,
Sorry.
every day they had to
why
walk
are
it
you
back
here?
because it got worse and worse and worse.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I just can't help
it's
you.
like I said on Xbox
I'm afraid
too.
I
Like,
cannot
in the
disclose
run
that
up to
information.
these things becoming
You
public,
do remember
you
that
have to
from
use the
your
word
Ranger days,
allegedly.
Sam?
So
About
he's
civilians not being
allegedly
allowed to
accused
know
of
sensitive
XYZ.
information and all that.
And then, because like
It's
if it turns
Cora,
out not to
right?
be true, then you can be like, oh well, I
I
said
just
allegedly.
can't say anything.
But
I'm sorry.
I had a feeling this was going to be true because of the way his Twitch ban was handled. I usually like
I'm sorry.
when it's
Best I can do is say you can
when
file
it's
a petition.
anything else,
Getting approval though can take
you know
weeks.
the reason.
For the girl's sake,
But when it involves
if I
a
see
minor,
Lillian, I'll let her know.
Accusations
all I can
like
do.
that's when it all becomes weirdly secretive. So I think a lot of people had this sort of inkling that maybe it was along those lines.
Well, that got us nowhere.
Dad, can you look around?
Fucking.
Maybe there's something here.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
That's
feel
not a
bad
bad
for his
idea,
family.
but
He's got a
Ranger
wife.
Smiley over there won't
Wife
like
and a
that.
kid, and obviously they're going to be impacted by that. And the victim, apparently, the victim and the family of the victim wanted
Looks
it
like it's my turn to make a fool of
all
myself.
kept under wraps
I'll keep
because they
the
didn't want to be in the limelight
nice
or involved.
gentleman
Which I think is
occupied.
fair enough.
You can look
You know,
around.
because who wants to be in that
exactly is
kind
your
of media
problem,
circus, right? But
Where to begin?
yeah, I mean,
Lillian got you
Dr.
into
Disrespect's
the
family has no
Rangers, and
choice
you
but to
basically
be
spit in
impacted
her
by it.
face.
Yeah.
it's wild.
Hey, I never wanted to be a
Well-
ranger. All that is
Yeah, where do you even go? What is the segue from Dr. Diddler to something else, I guess? I don't even...
No, man. I mean, well, there's some other bits and pieces this week in the news. I suppose the biggest news as pertains to good old Exuboxu
Exuboxu.
is Exuboxu.
We got Forza Horizon 4 delisting.
Forza Horizon 4 has been delisted, which
or is going to be delisted at the end of the year, which is why I'm playing. It's not
Good
Forza
work
Horizon
for the
4, but
little
it's
girl.
Forza Horizon 5 gameplay.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the show.
Sending
What'd you
off
find?
Forza Horizon in style.
it sort of brought up a lot of the discussions about
Game
Oh, yes.
preservation.
preservation and also
So she had a
how much
confidential
of
informant.
how much do we actually own of the games we
An
own,
address of
which
Lillian's
not a-
confidential
legally
informant.
speaking is not a
But
lot.
then there
What's
was
a
I saw a
confidential
report today
informant?
that Sony was
A snitch.
gonna
Someone
slowly
that
but surely
works for bad
stop
people, but is
making
helping the authorities on the
physical
side.
discs. Did you see that
Well,
today from
looks like we have a lead.
Yeah, I did.
name,
Physical
but the
dicks
address
are
works.
going away, man.
Physical
Shall we?
dicks are leaving. That can't
And the
be
field
would-
trip
I-
continues.
Is that true in the
No.
sense
Now be
that they're
careful,
going to be
Cora.
like, hey, we're not doing any more Blu-rays, we're not
Dude,
doing any more
dude.
of that stuff?
Of course it's true. Like the biggest, what do you think is the biggest seller of disc drives right now? It's PlayStation and Xbox consoles. Like nobody buys Blu-rays and DVDs anymore. You know, everyone's on streaming platforms and all they buy direct to digital. You can thank Apple and Google for that. You know, you can buy movies on YouTube now. You can buy movies on Apple TV and your iPhone, and gradually, surely but surely, people are doing that. Now, platform holders love that because they can control your
Not the
access
best
to it
neighborhood.
more proactively, you know, at least in theory, right? But also, the demand's just going down, you know, down and down and down and down. And I think, like, I honestly think, like, the PS6 and the Xbox Series X2, I think they'll just be flat digital. I don't think they'll have disc drives at all.
I think
I
they
would not
will.
be
Door's
surprised.
locked.
You think they will?
Well,
I wouldn't be
yeah,
surprised
you
if
have to be
they
think PlayStation
certifiable to leave your door unlocked on Neon.
Maybe Xbox, maybe
are you doing?
they might have
Picking
add-ons.
the lock?
I don't know. But even still, like
What
I'm
the
reading
hell
some of
did
the
you do
comments here.
A book.
I didn't click
Oh,
on it
and
because it's
Vladimir.
a Japanese article. But
Told
basically,
you
people are
nothing good
saying
will come
that
from those books.
this
I
doesn't
can't believe
affect
my
any
little Cora's
territories
taking
outside
marks.
of Japan, and this is about CDR, DVDR, and BDR, and not press discs.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
about recordable.
So you're gonna give her tips now.
um,
Thought I was supposed to be the bad influence.
still-
media, not
But
yeah,
seriously,
not like hey.
dragging
like
her all
burning
over
discs. Do you
creation.
remember burning discs as a
Of
kid?
course. Oh, absolutely. You know
Lillian's
what I
right.
used to do?
Well, Neon's a rough town.
I had a
She's waltzing through
you
it
know,
like it's
a
nothing.
burner on my PC, and I would.
You really think so? I mean, I know you
Burning
said
from my
Constellation's
I
good
would.
for her. You really think
Well,
that?
Oh, pirate
Even
movies
now?
and burn them and
No.
sell them for
Rock's
fat
done.
profit.
Wow.
Randall criminal.
No,
guess
no,
that's
I
her
wouldn't
cue.
sell them. But I would get them from. I would have like 8 out from Netflix. Like TV shows, like Lost Season 1, they all come in the mail,
Dad,
and then, you know,
I've seen
I would
worse.
just basically burn them,
He's just
put them
dead.
on a burned disc, and then send them back. And I
We'll stay
had
away
like
from this.
huge
I mean it, Cora.
piles
investigate.
of
If
all
that's
these
the
things,
CI,
like 24 seasons
does
1
that
through
mean
6
Mom-
and whatever,
Stuff
like all
is
these
like
different
Randall
TV
Criminal
shows.
Returns.
Yeah, the Randall
Whatever she's
Criminal.
involved in. That's not some milk
Man.
run.
I think version shifting is actually legal in America, but it's not in UK. So like everyone out there in the UK is downloading your ROMs and stuff, and being like, oh well, I own the disc, it's fine. Apparently, it's not fine, but who knows with this government? It's not like they can't even afford to prosecute burglars and stuff these days. So
It was great. I would have something coming in the mail from Netflix like every day. Like put it in there, put it in the thing, copy it to the disc, send it back.
So
know?
I didn't even know that Netflix was that kind of service until recently.
What,
I hadn't like
the discs?
yeah, I didn't know that.
Well,
I
mean,
like
they don't do it anymore, but they did.
No,
That's
they
how
don't do
got
it anymore.
started.
But yeah, I didn't know that. That's like my first introduction to Netflix was when they were, you know, what they are now. I think. But I was a Blockbuster kid though, back in the day.
I mean, yeah, we had Blockbuster
Anyway.
here too. Dude, Blockbuster was so good. Does anybody? This is very much nostalgia speaking. Does anybody of my age range? Because you would have to be in my age range, or maybe a little bit younger, maybe
No one's
obviously
that old,
older.
man.
But do you guys like kind of miss going up to Blockbuster and just whether it was a Friday night or a Saturday and just like perusing the store and seeing what's new and maybe getting there early enough because they only had so many copies of the newest release? There was something cool. Maybe cool's the wrong word.
I know what you mean. It felt good, man. I like when I go to Blockbuster and see what new games were there. You know,
Or like I remember
they're
going
always
up there
getting
and seeing, you know, their Xbox collection or, you know, their Genesis collection or whatever it was back then, and like crossing my fingers they would have the game I wanted, and that not only did they carry the game, but the game was actually going to be in. Man, it was I miss Blockbuster that way. There was something about it, but then it's like nowadays where you would go up to Blockbuster, but then maybe the movie you wanted to rent wasn't even in. So you're like, God damn it. And nowadays where it's like everything's on demand, everything's streaming, you don't have to worry about the movie you want not being available to watch. There was something special about Blockbuster though. And I feel like any kid who wouldn't understand that. Like if I was telling this to my nephews or someone who was like 15 or 16, they'd probably look at me like I was crazy. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean that was fun? But I just remember always being excited going up to Blockbuster. And it would be packed too. There'd be so many people
yeah, it'd be
up there
packed on a Saturday
on
night.
a Saturday or a Friday night. Yeah.
People buying snacks too. You could buy snacks.
Oh
there.
yeah, snacks everywhere. Yeah.
Good times, man. Good times. But
Good
hey,
times.
there's cool stuff now too. You know, like Game Pass, which is kind of like
Game Pass.
almost the moderns. There's a lot of potentially good stuff on the horizon for Game Pass when you consider. One thing that I keep getting questions on a lot is where are the Activision games for Game Pass? Because the Activision backlog, one of the things like people were celebrating when they bought Activision was, we're gonna get all this back catalog into Game Pass. You know, like Crash, Tony Hawk, Spyro, whatever. Hasn't happened yet. So.
Well, so about Forza Horizon 4 delisting, they are sending codes to people if you've bought any add-ons for the game, whether when it was in Game Pass. So if you had bought something for it,
if you bought post-launch content in any form, a loot box or whatever, I don't even really know what's there to buy. I suppose car backs and shit. If you bought anything like that,
expansion,
they're just giving you a free copy of the game, so you can keep it forever.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like when it's delisted for purchase, it doesn't remove your version of it. So like if you own Forza Horizon 4, you get to keep it forever, obviously, or at least until Microsoft shuts the servers down in 50 years or whatever, or it's World War 3 or an asteroid, you know, something cheerful like that. But yeah, that's where I think that's the right thing to do. I think some of the companies probably wouldn't do that. So it's cool to see them to do that, I suppose.
Christopher Stewart says, no one old enough to remember the Sega Channel. I remember the Sega Channel. I didn't have it at my house.
Dreamcast?
No.
What is that?
My
Sega
buddy,
Channel?
my buddy had the Sega Channel, but he hardly let us use it. So I've only actually used it a couple times. I don't know.
What is it?
Sega Channel was basically Game Pass before Game Pass. It was this
Oh shit.
channel on your cable plan where like all the Sega games were playable.
The fuck?
Yeah, and you would just...
I did not know they existed.
It's
That's
interesting.
interesting.
I'm trying to remember, but it was essentially that. It was basically like cloud gaming before. I don't know, but it's been such a long time. The Sega Channel had like all the Sega games,
Looks like you found it.
and you could play them.
Slate.
And it was
What's it say?
it was like something like 40 games
Shit.
a month that kind of rotated
Seal
in
the
and out of the
syndicate.
collection.
Some
This was
Victor
like
compound,
early mid
some
90s,
Stuff about fake IDs and cover details.
but I didn't have it. But
William's
one
doing
of my
a deep
friends did.
cover-up on the syndicate.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe you can Google it.
My thoughts exactly.
Yeah.
Cora,
check it out,
listen
but
to me.
Bing
This
it.
is
I'll
too
Bing it.
dangerous.
You can Bing it.
No.
You're like
it.
the only person
The
in the world who
syndicate
Bings
is
it.
very real, and
Let
No,
me Bing it.
you listen, Dad. I'm not 8 anymore.
Hey, there are dozens
I know
of
I
us.
can't
There's
shoot or
dozens
anything.
of us.
Do you use
she's
Bing
my
chat? Does anyone
mom.
in chat use Bing?
I can be a pair
Of course
of
you do.
eyes.
You always
If
Bing.
Mom...
You always Bing. You get your Microsoft
I know
rewards.
that
Bing,
look.
right?
You do.
Do you not like free stuff, Rand?
I mean, who doesn't love free stuff?
Me especially. I love free
I
stuff.
remember I think I did try to talk my parents into getting the Sega Channel, but they basically put their foot down.
yes,
And we're
you
like,
hear
no.
that?
And I was like,
It's not just me
"Ah."
that's worried about you.
I promise.
But this brought up, obviously, the
careful.
Forza Horizon delisting
You'll
brought
see.
up a lot of concerns
Alright.
of game preservation.
Let's go
Because
find
the
your
Forza
mother.
games get delisted, every single one of them. And I sort of think people forget that. All the Forza Motorsport games are delisted except the newest one. Forza Horizon 1, 2, 3, and now 4 are delisted. They used to be available for 4 years. And then they would be gone. This one lasted for 6. Because Forza Horizon 4 came out in 2018. It's leaving at the end of the year, so it's 6 years. So they extended...
They must have extended the yeah. I
Yeah,
was gonna
because-
say, did they extend the
because
licenses then?
It has to do with like music licensing, car licensing, and so after December, the only Forza Horizon game that'll be on the service is Forza Horizon 5. But I know a lot of people were upset by this, and especially with Xbox moving more and more towards digital and less towards physical, like. People were like, oh, well, if you don't have a physical discs of this, then it was like, oh, some kid who's 10 now in 5 years, they want to play the Forza games, but they won't be able to because they'll all be delisted and there aren't really that many physical copies of it. It's like, yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of the way it is. I mean, it sucks that they have to get delisted. I don't know how you would rectify that if it's strictly because of the music licenses and or the car licenses. Do you consistently relicense the stuff? Because you will see games here and there get taken down and delisted and then put back up because they had to renegotiate the music license. I think Alan
there was
Wake
actually
happened. Like Spec Ops: The Line that happened too. There are a few games there that have to like renegotiate or re-up their licenses.
There's actually an Xbox game that returned to Steam last week as well.
Yeah.
Well, it's not an Xbox game, I suppose, but it kind of is. Alpha Pro returned to Steam.
Oh yeah.
Time to
And they
leave this
returned
place behind.
their license.
So, I hear you've been making yourself pretty useful around the ship.
Good Alpha Protocol.
I have, Dad.
I never really played it.
Orbital insertion
But
completed.
it's an interesting idea. Was it basically like Mass Effect but spies?
Yes, essentially. It was
I really
great.
like that idea. Do you think that that'd be something worth revisiting someday? Do you think?
Yeah.
Sega still own that?
If Sega published it, did Obsidian own the license for it? Or the IP? I don't know. Let's see. Let's Google this. Chat. Let's find out. Google. Who owns Alpha Protocol? Alpha.
Well, you're doing a great job, Stringbean. I'm proud of you.
I'm gonna guess Sega.
Next time we plan inside. It still fits, Dad. And I love it.
It's got. It must be Sega because they're the
Grav
ones that released it on Steam. I don't think
It was pulled from Steam in 2019 due to the expiration of the music rights.
Yeah, so they've renewed the rights. I think that's pretty cool. I suppose at that point you could, you know, replace the music with some copyright-free stuff from Godzilla. I can watch it.
Some of the review scores here. IGN gave it a 6 out of 10. GameSpot gave it a 6 out of 10.
What did Windows Central give?
I don't know. Metacritic on the 360, 63 out of 100. There's no way that game was a 60. Are these people crazy? What the hell?
Wasn't the issue that it was bugged though?
It could have been. I just don't remember having any issues with it. But apparently the reviews are. I played it on the 360.
I think it had issues on PC, if I remember
Maybe.
right.
Beginning left.
Wasn't it a game from
I think it might have been. But to me, that's not a 60 in my head.
Actually, I want to restart.
What else we got here? We have an Xbox Keystone leak thanks to